Live from the Export Beer Garden studio and brought to you by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda podcast for Monday, the 29th of July.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Good morning, Lane. We'll get into the Olympics very shortly, but I don't know if you heard Heath and I talking about it on the podcast last week. We got onto talking about who's the greatest New Zealander of all time.
Oh yeah, that's quite a broad topic.
It came off the back of a voicemail that we had, and it was something that I thought that Matt and Jerry would have done on their show. They call everyone a great New Zealander.
Who is the greatest?
Yeah, who is the greatest? Because people were talking last week. Actually, it came off the back of a meme that was going around saying LeBron James is the greatest American of all time.
Oh,
someone had him over Abe Lincoln. And I got asked thinking, who is the greatest New Zealander of all time? And I feel like we've got a lot of messages on Instagram about it.
Yeah.
A lot of votes for Richie. I feel like we need to bust out another bracket for this, like we did with the ACC nicknames last year.
Yeah.
So I think we need to get your votes through, send in voicemails.
There's some interesting ones on this list.
This is just a little quick whip around that we had in the office last week. Of some of the ones that we came up with.
P-Money. Who put P-Money in the greatest New Zealand? Is that you?
P-Money versus Scribe. I feel like it'd be quite a good, Irene Van Dyke versus Bernice Mini. Obviously, we're going to have to boil this down. I think last year we did 64 in the bracket, which arguably too much.
Yeah, it was. It went on for quite some time.
So 32 would probably be the go.
Constable Keith versus Sniff.
Yeah. Constable Keith. I always thought that was the dog's name.
Nah. He was Constable Keith was the police officer.
And Sniff is a terrifying looking dog.
It was like before puppetry became cute. It was like basically a taxidermied Alsatian with a loose jaw.
That's exactly what it was. Somebody sent me a photo of it last week. I'm going to try and bring it up. But yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. Here it is here.
Taxidermied. Yeah. Yeah, it was a legit taxidermied dog with just a loose bottom jaw that would go up and down.
And it's like, now kids, what do you do if a stranger jumps out of the bush and flashes you? You're like, what the fuck? I did not know that was an option.
And
to this day, it never happened to me.
We used to work with Constable Keith's daughter, Megan Keith.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was on radio for years.
Oh, wait, Keith is his last name?
Of course it was.
I thought that they
You don't do Constable Dave. It's like
I thought they did that to make him a bit more approachable. Also, where I'm from, you do know the police by first name.
No, it's Constable Keith's last name.
Okay. So Keith is his last name. Wow, we're learning a lot. See, this is why it's important to have these debates. Because the one I was talking about last week was, would you have Jonah over Ed Hillary?
Ooh,
and I don't
know about that.
I think the only thing that holds Jonah back is he didn't win a World Cup. If we won in '95.
And he didn't climb the highest mountain in the world.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
He didn't drive a Massey Ferguson to the South Pole either, like Sir Edmund Hillary did.
He didn't. He didn't build schools in Nepal.
No.
And then take all the kids from the school down to the nearest flat bit of earth and make them dance for a whole day until it was flat enough that a plane could land in it.
Mm.
But he did.
Yeah.
He did do that. And that's why he's on the $5 note. Queen Bee versus Val Adams.
Magnus Benroe.
Can you put Magnus and Benroe in the same thing?
Does anyone outside of Auckland know Magnus and Benroe? It's a very Auckland TV store, appliance store, isn't it?
I actually have only just found you telling me that now. I've only just figured out what they actually sell.
Yeah, whiteware.
They just crack me up. What are their names again? I was just talking about them before.
Oh,
John and Adrian.
They're definitely banging.
I think they're married, aren't they?
Are they?
Oh. They're not. They're not.
This is blowing your mind this morning.
I'm learning a lot this morning. John and Adrian aren't married. Keith was not his first name.
Hey, and the Briscoes lady, it's a wig.
Yeah, I know it's a wig, but okay. I don't think a wig precludes you from being the greatest New Zealander of all time. But, she's going to come up against some stiff. The Big Save lady versus the Briscoes lady.
Oh, yeah. Tammy. Is her name Tammy?
Yeah, I think so. Big Gary from Big Gary's... There's a fish and chip shop down there.
R.I.P.
Morton Coots, who figured out continuous fermentation for DB breweries back in the day. There's the better.
That's a global phenomenon, that one.
I know. The Finn brothers,
You can't put David Bain in here. Who put David Bain?
David Bain versus Mark Lundy.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Lee Hart versus Mikey Havoc. Stacey Jones versus the Nick Minute guy. I'm just saying there's a lot. There's a lot of Mr. Whippy. You know, you got to put him in there. Charlie Upham, Willie Apiata.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Oppo the Dolphin, the Fieldland Moose. I don't know. There's a lot that you can chuck in there. And I think that over the next month, we need to deliberate as to who is the greatest New Zealander.
It's going to be controversial.
And I think whoever wins it, we should put a strong petition forward to Chris Luxon to change one of the
notes?
The notes, yeah, the bank notes.
Yeah, because we'll make a new one. A 500.
Yeah, make a new 500, and we're going to put the Nick Minute guy on it. Or whoever you vote for. So, yeah, I'll doctor that up this afternoon. We'll get into it probably tomorrow or Wednesday.
Yeah, okay.
Just before we get into the Olympics as well, your Rams won on the weekend.
Yes, and you know what? A little part of me, my heart sung when I was watching that, and the mascot made his way onto the court.
Yeah,
and they've changed his costume somewhat since I was in it.
It's a bit more athletic.
Yeah, it looks a bit more breathable than the Walrus rug that I was wearing and the paper mache helmet that was about 30 kgs.
Because you were the Ram for
I was Rambo. His name's Rambo. I was Rambo for a season down there when I was a student down there in Canterbury.
And it just about killed you.
Yes, there was an incident where I was left hanging from the hoop by a gold medallion on the 70s theme night. And the crowd thought it was all part of the entertainment as Rambo looked like he was getting hung. And luckily for me, the structure of the medallion was quite weak and it gave way and I fell flat on my back on the court.
I wish there was footage of this.
Oh, my God.
I would rather see that than the bodybuilding footage.
This was so bad. I actually feared for my life for a while there. It's funny now, but at the time, I was struggling to breathe and hanging from a 10-foot hoop. Entangled with a gold medallion into the net, and then to fall down 10 feet and land on your back. The only thing that stopped me getting knocked out was the fact I had that 30 kg paper mache helmet on.
Bit of PPE going on. Bit of health and safety procedures last night. They cut the net down.
Yes,
because they did win the NBL last night. There was a great clip doing the rounds of, ironically, a Rams fan. This kid.
Oh, and he dropped the greatest F-bomb.
Yeah, in slow motion, you could see him saying it, but they were winning. I don't know what it was about, but go and check that one out on Instagram. But the Olympics did start over the weekend. Did you watch the opening ceremony?
I watched bits and pieces of it. It was quite something.
It was all over the show.
There was a lot going on. I quite like the idea that the athletes came in on boats. I quite like that.
Yeah,
and the flames not in the like the fact that it wasn't in a stadium so much. You know, I quite liked it.
It was. I saw an interview with Andrew Mulligan from Crowd Goes Wild because he's over there. And he was like, I got to be honest with you, it would have been way better watching on TV than where I was.
Oh, yeah.
He could only see a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Because they would have, there was like a woman.
The opera singer was. That was impressive.
So she was standing on top of that big glass building, that one?
Yes.
Yeah. And then they zoomed out. But the thing is, no one in town could have seen her or heard her. It was only that she was mic'd up and they had zoomed in. What is that big building again?
Is that the Versailles? No. The Opera House? Something like that. Anyway, there's so many impressive buildings in Paris. You don't know which one's which. But in essence, the opening ceremony is an hour-long tourism video.
Yes.
That's all it is. They don't give a shit about the people there watching it. It's about selling Paris to the world.
Yeah.
And it did a pretty mean job.
Doesn't need much selling Paris.
No, I know, but it was pretty balling. And I like the way that the audacity of, they don't give a shit. They put a bunch of transvestites and mock the Last Supper. They don't care.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? They're like, meh.
I thought that was Dionysus and they were just having some sort of festive orgy. And I don't know, I suppose open to interpretation. They had that metal band, forgive me for not knowing, Gojira or something like that. A few people that were sharing that on my timeline. A few of my friends absolutely love that kind of shit.
It's good, I like it. I mean, the less amount of children running around with ribbons, the better. Because that's what usually happens in most opening ceremonies, is a bunch of children with flags and ribbons.
And they dance.
And it sucks.
Can't really give a shit.
Yeah.
I did notice, though, that as the boats were coming along the water, there were all those fountains going off.
Yeah.
I was like, these guys must be getting absolutely drenched. And sure enough, they were. Kevin Durant posted to his Instagram stories, like, my whole outfit's soaked. And he would not be used to that. You know, this is a guy who's getting paid hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I didn't like their uniform either. The Americans, they had
seemed undersized.
Jeans on with blazers. Oh, anytime you're trying to fit NBA players, they look ridiculous.
In a suit,
In a suit, you can spot. It's quite funny. I liked looking at all the dudes on their boats and trying to pick what sport they were. You know, the NBA players stick out like dog's balls because they're about 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
I was saying the other day, I got a mate of mine who's over there sailing for Samoa, so we should try and get him on and get his thoughts on what it was like. He filmed the whole thing. It seemed like it was a long day for the athlete.
Well, there's a lot of athletes who weren't there either because obviously the rugby sevens was on at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
The surfers are a wee way away.
Oh, where are they?
Tahiti.
Yeah. Billy Stemmen is actually in action right now.
Have you seen, though, they've got like a floating Olympic village in Tahiti? So they've got like a little cruise ship. And that's all the surfers are just staying on this cruise ship.
Oh,
just partying up.
Almost rather do that.
Yeah.
I suppose you can't surf in Paris, can you? And they're back to not knowing whether they're going to do the triathlon in the Seine anymore.
Oh, because it rained.
Because it rained. And so now, but then what they're saying is, so they tested the water after the rain, and so there was more poos in there. That's what they're testing for.
Yeah.
E. coli, fecal matter. They found dangerous levels
Of poos.
of poos. No, like if it stays this full of poos, we're not going to be able to do it. Then it came out that actually, when the mayor went down and had a swim, and a few of them were swimming around, it actually came out that the levels were dangerous then too.
Oh.
There's no way this is good. It's going to be clean enough. Whether it goes ahead or not, I think is completely irrelevant. Like, it doesn't depend on whether there's poos in there or not. They're going ahead with it.
Yeah, they should do. And I want a swimmer to come out of the water with a Grogan like on his shoulder or something, or in his hair. It's that. Just, I mean, even if it's fake, even if someone just throws a picnic bar in there and grabs it off their shoulder and takes a bite out of it live on TV.
Hayden Wild, who could be our best medal hope so far. We're going to get into all of the actual action that has happened in the first 48 hours of the Olympics proper. But just before we do, if you're watching all of these sports and you're thinking, geez, I wish there was some sort of scholarship set up around this kind of thing, something that could get me, like, I don't know, some chips, some refreshments. Well, we've got just that, the Snackachangi Sports Scholarship, where binge watching sport is a sport. To enter, text CHIP to 3236, follow the link, and you could be in to win the ultimate ACC prize pack. Quick break, we'll be right back. Lane, I was reading the newspapers this morning, and I've got to be honest, they're all very, very negative and down on our athletes so far.
Well, I could see why we've won 0 medals.
We have not won a medal.
But we specialise in our arse being on something solid to win, okay? Whether it's us being blown around a harbour or an ocean, or whether it's going backwards or forwards, our arse needs to be on some sort of terra firma to win a medal.
We need to be set. And to be fair, our rowers are going all right so far. The men's pair in the semi-final, women's pair into the repechage. Women's lightweight double scull into the semi-finals, women's 4 into the final, men's 4 into the final. So yeah, we are doing well.
The word repechage. Is that only ever said once every 4 years, isn't it? It's in the Olympics.
Yeah.
When you the repechage.
Which I only understand to mean you get another shot at it.
Yeah.
So you didn't qualify in your heat.
Yeah, you go to the repechage.
You go to the repechage and you basically have to win that to stay in it. It is fun when the Olympics come around and you've got to try and refamiliarise yourself with all this stuff.
Very unique to rowing, though, because there's no repechage in the shooting, is there?
I think there's one in the sailing. Is there a repechage?
Is there a repechage?
I don't know. What's
Great
sports?
name.
Repechage experts reach out.
Yeah.
But where else does it?
It's like World Cup rugby. You lose your pool games and you get a repechage.
Yeah. If this podcast is shit, do we have to do a repechage afterwards? I was watching a bit of the rowing last night. It's great. It's an awkward time, but we've taken to going to bed and then firing up the old thing on the phone.
Oh, yep.
And you can flip between them all. I was watching our equestrians. Price, I forget her first name. She drove her horse into one of the barriers.
Just like full pace.
Janelle Price. It wasn't full pace. They were coming through the water, and they hopped out, and the horse I just don't think was ready for the next one. And so it just, fuck, and then kept going. And I think basically at that level, if you do that, you're done.
Did you watch the pistol shooting?
No.
Now, the pistol shooting is one of the funniest things. They introduced the shooters. First of all, hands down, all look like serial killers.
Oh, the pistol shooters.
Yeah, and then they're wearing the strangest eyewear you've ever seen. It's like a small piece of scaffolding that they put across their eyebrows, and then one of them has like an evil round eye, and then on the other eye, they have a flag blocking their eye. And it's like, during the intros, take them off.
They're wearing them
the whole time. And they're standing there, and they look like the biggest goobers as well. Like I said, serial killers, all of them. serial killers or gamers.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you got a
Fine
lineup
line.
of them, of the pistol,
Yeah.
the pistol shooting, and then it is yes, like why they're dressed up like a robotic Harry Potter. It's weird.
It's not even cool. Like it looks like the leftover science equipment from your high school class.
Yeah. And you know what's even uncooler about it? There's no recoil on the pistol. It's like
a spud gun.
yeah, at least give it some sort of like boom.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's kind of like the thing they tried to shoot Trump with. There was no like boom. It was just like clapping. Why wouldn't you, if you're one of these dudes, if you're one of these pistol shooters, why would you not come in dressed as a cowboy?
oh, 100%.
You have the world of possibilities available to you.
Yeah.
And you come in looking like an absolute winner. Or like some sort of RoboCop thing.
Yeah, just ham it up a little bit. But instead, they're just a little sloppy, weird-looking dudes. And then one guy, he put his left arm up to shoot, and then he got his belt out and tucked his hand into his belt and into his pants, and then shot. It was weird.
It's problematic. And so they just literally stand there and shoot with their pistol.
Yeah, they get I think they do 5 shots at a time or something, and then they put them down, and they put them up again.
How boring.
Oh yeah, they get their heart rates down to 30, so they're hardly alive.
They've got the pulse of a tuatara.
Yeah, but why are they wearing the eyewear? I don't know. It's so odd.
Anime
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Anyway.
And also, at least with the skiing one, there's a bit of jeopardy involved. I'd like these dudes to have to run around. I think we were talking about it last week.
Yeah, the modern pentathlon when they're in the Winter Olympics where they've got to go, they ski for 10 kilometres, then they've got to lie down, try and control their breathing, and then shoot a target. Yeah.
You should have to ram raid a Michael Hill jeweler and then hop out and fire your thing off.
Well, you got to drive a spoon into a Mazda Demio, start it, hit the nearest jewellery store, then get out and pop 5 off into
shoot a wicket.
Yeah.
And then you're away.
Eat it.
Our sailing is in action very shortly as well. The Black Ferns Sevens beat China 43-5 and Canada 33-7.
Didn't Michaela Blythe score 4 tries in one of those games?
Sounds like it would have been that first one. Yep, they're off to a flyer. Football Ferns lost 2-0 against Colombia, who were probably flying a drone over the top of them. The hockey Black Sticks men lost to Belgium 1-2. I think they lost to India as well just before that. And our women's surfer, she got beaten. I think the waves weren't coming for her. So
and Lulu Sun, one and done.
Lulu Sun, one and done. God, journalists are having an absolute field day with Lulu's last name, which I think is Sun. But
Sun.
Yeah, Sun, one and done. And it's one of those classic Kiwi, we don't really follow sports very closely, and we hear that she's mean and then she loses, and everyone's like, oh, what? I thought she was awesome. So yeah, you can still lose a game. It's like the men's sevens team. People are like, I thought they were good. It's like, yeah, they are. They literally beat that team that beat them the night before.
In pool play.
Yeah. If you knew what the results would be, why bother hosting the tournament at all?
And then South Africa went on to get bronze as well.
Yeah. So
how was that sevens final though? I mean, Antoine Dupont. Dupont. It was written in the stars, wasn't it? That whole final.
He was tremendous throughout that game. He was arguably he is the best rugby 15s player in the world at the moment. Now he's gone to sevens. He was immense.
And he's just a ball of muscle.
He's a nugget. Yeah. Yeah. Giant head.
Huge head.
He was on the back of Human Centipede for his second try.
Yeah, yes, that's right. The whole team came in.
Yeah.
They came flying in. A 7-man maul in sevens is a gutsy move.
It's unheard of. It's something, the Waimate under-18s used to do a 13-man line out. Something I haven't seen since. So, after 48 hours, there have been a ton of medals dished out so far. Do you want to have a guess at who's at the top of the medal table?
France?
Non.
China?
Non.
America?
Non.
Australia?
Also non.
Oh.
You're very close. You've named all 4 of the top 5. It is Japan.
Oh.
Tied for gold medals with Australia, but they have one extra bronze, which is in...
Kiwi gold.
Hey, Kiwi gold, which I think was a fencer. Australians have got some good, God's honest Aussie gold with a couple of swimmers. Erica Fairweather, who came 4th, she was gutted. Everyone at the Olympics always says 4th is the worst position to get because you just missed out on the thing. You know? If you're 4th, you might as well be 8th, but you're agonisingly close. She was in an historic field.
Yes.
It would be like if you came fourth in a one-on-one basketball tournament, and the winners were Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? You'd just be like, well, fuck, what was I going to do? It's agonisingly close too.
Is there a worse job in media than being having to interview athletes immediately after they've competed and lost? Because you're basically saying, hey, you kind of fucked it up. And
How
then,
did that feel?
Yeah, how'd that feel? And
You'd
then
be pretty gutted.
And they always start get emotional, and it's like, ugh. And then they got to try and bring them back, going, the country's proud of you, we're really proud of you, you've done yourself a really, and then they're like, fuck you.
That's why it has to be someone like Kimberly Downs or someone to do it, because if it was some sort of, hard line journo, we'd just be like, geez, you fucked that one up, didn't you? 4 years of your life. Think about all the times your mates went out on the piss and you said no because I'm going to the Olympics, and you fucked it up. You might as well have gone out on the piss.
Or James McCaney just trying to throw one-liners at you.
Yeah, exactly. You need someone with a bit of a heart. But at the medal table at the moment, Japan, 4 gold medals. They're in fencing, judo, and skateboarding.
Yeah, mean.
Of all things. Did you see the skateboarding bus broke down?
So they just skated.
That seems like a PR stunt, I've got to be honest with you, but don't know. What's going to happen if the breakdancing bus breaks down? The Australians are fourth. Second with 4 as well. USA are third. Kazakhstan are among the teams that are ahead of us. Uzbekistan as well.
Where'd all those stunny medals come from? Judo?
Yeah, judo. So judo's had they've had a bunch of weight divisions go through. So Kazakhstan's got a judo, Uzbekistan's got a judo. As we get down to Kosovo, they've got a judo. Mongolia, Tunisia, they've got a fencing, and the Republic of Moldova is also ahead of us. But that's only because of judo. Judo's been keeping them all.
You wait until we're sitting down going backwards.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll fuck those guys.
Once we get out on the water with the sailing. What's been your favourite thing that you've watched so far across the weekend?
Shooting. The shooting had me in absolute tears.
Yeah.
But just because they were so ice cold, there was zero personality.
No.
And the eight dudes that lined up. I only watched the dudes one because it was just so funny.
Yeah.
And the commentator goes, and there's Damien. He's a real character, Damien. He's like, no, he's not. He's got no character. Like, none of them have.
It's kind of like early doors darts players.
Yeah. They are. They're so sloppy rigged serial killers. That's what they are.
There needs to be a bit more jeopardy in if it was like a carnival where the things are moving and you could shoot them down.
Or you had a teammate with something on his head. You had to shoot it off his head like a beer can or something.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I've got to be honest, I actually really enjoyed the rowing. I shit on it when for 3 years out of 4, but the 1 year when it's actually going in the Olympics, I'm like, they're actually quite fun races to win because of the way the boats back and forth.
And I quite like they've got the speed as well. You can see who's seeking and see who's like on the side. That's the first time I've seen the speed thing on the side.
Yeah, the speed.
So you can see who's catching up or who's
stroke rate,
dropping ass. Mind you, with the rowing, I always feel sorry because there's always some fucking dude from Congo who's about a kilometre behind everyone else. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you poor bastard.
And also in our men's, what are they, the double, single sculls, the one where they're only holding one oar each.
Oh, yep.
They were racing against the Swiss team, had 2 dudes from Yale University, and they were in the Yale rowing team for ages. And then now they're rowing for Switzerland. And I was like, that's right, this is a big thing in those real wanky
colleges, yeah.
Meanwhile, the US team done their ass. They were about 300 metres behind the rest of us. And I also like that, obviously they wear their watch so they can keep time, keep track of various different metrics. Our man in the front of our boat, he put the watch on the oar. He didn't even have it on his arm. It's just rowing with the thing and checking it every now and then as it came past on the oar. So, yeah, that, the swimming, obviously this is the only time in my life that I watch swimming.
Do you reckon you could biscuit behind a rowing 8?
Oh, look, I got to be honest with you. Last time I tried water skiing, it just about sunk the boat that was trying to pull me out the water.
That's why I said biscuiting. Because, you could stick a couple of kids on a biscuit behind the 8.
Oh, a couple of kids on a biscuit, yeah. But, I mean, they'd want to be up to almost full tilt before, God. It'd just be the start would be tough.
Yeah, you got to get it planing, don't you?
Yeah, the start would be very tough. Yeah, you probably could.
Maybe foiling behind because once you're up on the foil, there's very little resistance.
Oh, yeah, you could foil behind it, yeah, for sure. But a biscuit would be a bit different. The only like, obviously rowing came from just back in the day when you had to actually row a boat out to a bigger ship to go wherever you want.
All Vikings were headed to the north of England just to rape and pillage.
And they're like, I reckon we're way quicker than you guys. They're like, fuck off. All right, line them up, let's go. I don't know how that has persisted as a sport through until today. It's so bizarre.
It is weird. If you're a man from Mars, you came in and go, what the?
Why?
But then they also looked at the pistol shooters and gone, Jesus.
Yeah, that's right.
These are your best shooters?
Looking at those pistol shooters, obviously not very athletic. They stand dead still. I don't know how we've ended up back here again. If you're in a shootout at like a laser tag place with an actual pistol, do you reckon you could beat one of them? Do you reckon you could get them before they got you?
Nah. No. There's something unhinged about all of them
That's too psychotic.
Yeah. They would be so still in the corner, just popping you off like.
All right, that'll do it for the Olympics for today. All of our athletes that are in action later on today and tomorrow are up on our Instagram.
Yep.
We're pumping out when and where you can watch each of those, but it's niggly times because they're exact opposite time in the world from us. So, anywho, go and check that out on the Instagram if you wish to, and if you would like the exclusive opportunity to win a VIP Warriors experience, all thanks to Hallensteins, we've got just that. You can score tickets, cash money for food, beverages, plus vouchers to be kitted out in hoodies like the one I'm wearing right now from the legends at Hallensteins. To get in the draw, text VIP to 3236 to be a VIP at the Warriors, thanks to the ACC and Hallensteins brothers. One more quick break and we'll come back with yours, please.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
Just the four to get through today, Lane.
Yep.
And the first one goes like this. Yours, please.
G'day, fellas. Are we going to talk about the NRLW over the weekend? Man, hadn't watched that before, but watching the Broncos versus Eels game, full on biff, full punches. It was bloody good watching, actually. And you got to really talk about the post-try celebrations. It's pretty choreographed. It was actually quite entertaining watching. All right, fuck South Canterbury, Uru.
Uru.
Yeah, no, this was good. So it was one of the Eels players got lined up, and it was a simultaneous hip drop and head high on this one player. And so then her sister, who plays in the same team, fired up. Was just like, "What? This is fucked." She comes in, pushes one girl off with her hand right on her face. And then the hip drop-e, Annette Nuasala, I'm definitely not pronouncing it correctly. She's the sister of Frank Paul, who played for the Roosters.
Yeah.
He won the NRL back in 2013. They just started throwing bones. It was just all on for young and old.
Good stuff.
It was good. And I think, because I was watching the footage, and I think it was Gus Gould commentating.
Oh, yes.
And you could tell him, he was just being like, oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's on now. It's on now. Like, he was loving it. Then they showed the slow-mo replay, and there was just like a couple of full-on punches to the cheek. And he's like, oh, oopsie. And in the end, they both just got sin-binned for 10 minutes.
Bring back the biff.
I expect when they see the replays, they're going to get quite lengthy bans for that. But yeah, it's just good to see a bit of biff in the NRLW. God bless them. Another caller here. Yours, please.
Howdy, lads. Frano here. Just calling in regards to commentary to the Olympics. You said you guys just had too much on your plate to do every single one, so I thought we'd narrow it down a bit. How about just commentating the Olympic Villa? Who's shagging who? What mischief's getting up? What's everyone's body count? Just, make it a bit easier for everyone. Plus, I'd love to hear which one of our...
I'm quite glad that got cut off there.
Yeah. Is it a tractor? Well, it sounded like he was in a tractor of some description, or a harvester of some description.
Yep.
Interesting, wasn't it, the whole village and the socialisation, because all the athletes finish at different times. Don't they? So,
the Sevens guys finished before the opening ceremony.
Yeah, so they get hit it hard for the next 2 weeks.
Were they stick on the around? Boat? I don't think they were on the boat.
Do they stick around? Do you stick around?
Fucking you stick around.
Oh yeah, I know you totally would. But obviously all the judo guys are ready to mingle. They're done.
Yeah.
The judo guys. I mean, a lot of the swimmers, they're done.
Yes.
A few of those guys. But then again, you've got a mixture of people tearing the village a new one, literally.
Yeah.
And then ones that are just trying to keep their distance.
It reminds me of like the end of your university year when everyone was finishing their exams at different times. So then, but if you were the last one and everyone else was like going for it, you'd always feel like, should I just have a...
Let's have one.
God, how easily could you derail your entire Olympics? Mate, if I was over there and I'd trained for 4 years and the judo boys were on the chop because they'd already finished, but I still had my one-eyed pistol shooting to come, I reckon I would have gone hell for leather. I would have been like, fuck, I'm never going to be in Paris with these guys again.
Well, imagine if you were in the village and a real breath of fresh air came up. They'd just finished their event. What are you up to tonight? I've got 2 tickets to the Moulin Rouge. I've been spotting you from the other side of the room. I think we would have a good night together. You've got your shooting the next morning.
We'd have some D1 children.
You're never gonna come across this scenario again. You're like, oh shit.
So you're telling me an Uzbeki wrestler comes up to me,
Yeah.
and he says, "I've got us 2 tickets to the Moulin Rouge."
That's exactly what I'm saying. And how could you resist? Because he's gonna have you anyway.
You know what? Ashvili.
Actually.
I don't know. I came close. Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about me. Yes, I would.
Yeah.
100%. I guess that's what separates these people from the rest of us.
Yeah, the temptation must be just mind-boggling. But then, and then it's just built up, and then you see it at the closing ceremony, and you're like, oh my god, it's gonna be like a painter's radio around this village.
A lot of sunglasses going on around that time. It's just like we said, we did offer, and there were talks about us going over there. And I actually think that reporting on this kind of thing is exactly why we're not there right now, because this is what the New Zealand Olympic Committee does not want.
Yeah, correct.
Nigel Avery, the last thing he wants, our chef de mission, is us going out there to be like, fuck, did you hear what these guys got up to last night?
That's another word, the chef de mission. Between repêchage and chef de mission, whenever do you say chef de mission?
Well, only when he's in the repêchage.
You just say he's the dude in charge.
I know. I don't know why we end up with all the French words in there as well. Another caller here. Yours, please.
G'day, mate. Idea for the half-time at the rugby. That will be slightly more interesting. Why don't we get some animal fighting going on? Bit of cockfighting. Maybe go grab some lions and some gazelles from the Auckland Zoo. I'm sure the TAB would love to get on board, and I'm sure everyone would love it. Hooroo.
Well, first of all, great idea. Why we don't get the gazelles is because my partner looks after the gazelles at the Auckland Zoo, so that's going to cause me more problems than it's worth.
Yep.
But I think the halftime show, animal fight's a great idea, and I think that perhaps at the Olympic version would be you nominate a native animal from your country. Yeah, and then you just put them all in sort of Royal Rumble styles.
Oh, we'd suck though, because we'd have like flightless birds in there.
Oh no, you could chuck a sea lion in there.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Have we got a native sea lion? Have we?
Well, I don't think they're introduced. I don't think someone came over and was just like, you know what, bring us gorse, bring us some possums, a couple of ferrets, a stoat and a sea lion. I don't know if they're from here, but they're around.
I reckon a Kiwi would go all right though, because it would just be like the one quiet dude whacking off in the corner, and everyone will kill each other in the field, and then there'll just be this Kiwi in the corner going.
That's a good point.
Terrified in the corner, and no one will even engage with the flightless fat bird.
That's right.
And it'll be all the light tigers and lions and snakes going hammer and tongs.
Oh yeah, if I'm an Alaskan grizzly and I'm looking around the room and I see fucking the Central African Republic's put forward a gorilla.
Yes.
I'm like, never mind that Kiwi. We'll get around to the Kiwi. That gorilla's going to be a problem.
That little fat thing in the corner.
Yeah.
Pleasuring itself. I can deal with that later.
We'll get back to that thing. But the gorilla, that needs to be stopped right now. Botswana's sent over a lion. You know? It's like, fuck it.
Well, Americans got an eagle flying around just picking people off.
Yep.
I mean, that's an issue for the Kiwi. The eagle coming in, the bull, like
traditionally,
and just picking it up.
Yeah, God, the Kiwi, that'd be so lame. Meanwhile, there's a saltwater crocodile. From Australia.
Australia have got so many. Like, what do you pick? They got those cassowaries look terrifying.
Cassowaries are terrifying. Yeah,
so you got those things as well.
The noise they make rattles your chest. The cassowary.
Yeah, see, like Australia got their own. They've got their own division.
They do. They could run their own whole competition. No, I think we'd be in deep shit. It's a bear. It's got to be a bear. I've spent a lot of time thinking about animals fighting against other animals. If you think
a grizzly
bear,
yeah.
If you think that a gorilla could beat a grizzly bear, just go and have a look at the size difference. Grizzly bears are so much bigger.
What about polar bear?
Smaller than a grizzly bear, yeah. Probably a bit more athletic. bit more vicious. But
You reckon an elephant could take down a grizzly? Just stand on its head or something?
oh yes, I did get served a video on Instagram of an elephant standing on its trainer a couple of weeks ago. That really
Your feed is wrong.
really interrupted my sleeping pattern on a Tuesday. Yeah, I think an elephant could, because I always like to think about what's the biggest animal I could beat in a one-on-one fight. You know, and everyone always immediately jumps to like cows because they're so placid. How are you going to kill a cow?
No, that's 100 punches to the head, and you got broken hands.
Yeah, that's right. You're not. Yeah. And look, I'm not too proud to admit that I've once punched a sheep in the head, and it just about broke my hand, and the sheep didn't even notice it. So you're not killing a cow or a sheep or anything like that. I think I could starve out a giraffe.
Starve out a giraffe.
Yeah, I feel like I can last longer without eating than a giraffe can.
So this is not a fight to the death. This is just you staring at a giraffe.
It's me and a giraffe get locked in a cage.
And you're like, we're not going to fight.
First one to walk out wins.
Okay.
Yeah. Or I wait until it lies down. Eventually it's going to get so emaciated it lies down.
Yeah.
And then I'm rear naked choke holding that motherfucker.
Doesn't your partner look after the giraffe as well?
She does. She's convinced I couldn't do it. I reckon I could. All right, we're off into the weeds here. One last caller. Caller yours, please.
Hey boys, regarding the Sevens men's team, I think the selectors are currently doing the nation and the fans a disservice by not calling in the Avengers. We need to build out a super team like USA Basketball and bring in the likes of Moanga and Barrett. I know it's harsh on players who play Sevens year in, year out, but one silver medal from 3 Olympics doesn't stack up to our rugby pedigree. Change is required to win.
Yeah, that was pointed.
Yeah, it was one of the most well thought out voicemails we've ever had.
It is actually, and finished in time.
Yep.
Wrapped it up nicely.
That's what we in the industry call hitting the post.
Yeah, he's nailed that. I agree with him.
100%.
I agree with him. Why didn't we have Richie Moe in there? Why didn't we have Bodie Barrett in there? Geordie Barrett. D-Mac.
Yeah. Artie.
Yes.
You telling me they'd rather be playing Fiji and San Diego? No, they'd rather be in Paris, winning a gold medal.
Look at Antoine Dupont.
Exactly, yeah. And look, yes, it would be harsh to those guys on the Sevens circuit, you know, week in, week out. Unfortunately for them, unless you're better than, you know, these other guys, Artie Savea himself would be...
That'd be terrifying, wouldn't it?
He would be, yeah. He looks like a Sevens player. I think we have come a wee way off the boil from where our Sevens team was, you know, when we're in the DJ Forbes era.
Yeah.
I don't think we're quite there anymore, as evidenced by the but I mean, SBW did come into that team and they didn't do too well either. So, but I don't know. I think we should definitely do that next time.
Is it going to be there next time?
Sevens?
Is it a permanent Olympic sport now?
Well, what's that? The third?
Oh yeah, I suppose.
Olympics, I suppose it is. I mean, fuck. I would love to hear the argument about why breakdancing's in there and rugby sevens isn't. You know,
isn't parkour in there as well this year?
I think so. Yeah. And then the wall climbing.
Yeah, I don't mind the wall climbing. It's quite good fun.
That is actually quite good to watch. It doesn't make too much sense. I feel like they're pulling them up with that rope.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Bit of performance enhancement. I don't know. Yes, I completely agree. I think the bat signal should go up for the Avengers of the Sevens. But that'll do us for today. But send in your voicemails overnight and tomorrow. We want to know who you think is the candidates for the greatest New Zealander of all time. We'll put a bracket together and we will debate it over the coming month. Also, just one last thing. We're actually on YouTube. I don't know if we've been putting these up for ages.
Oh.
And I just don't think anyone's ever mentioned it. But yeah, if you prefer watching your podcasts on YouTube, if you want to see what we look like.
Oh, God. Posture.
If you want to see the awful, awful posture that goes on.
I blame the chairs.
In the Export Beer Garden studio. It's definitely the chairs.
Yeah.
The chairs suck. Then you can do that. You can just check it out on the YouTube. Other than that, we'll knock this thing on the head. We'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the Agenda Podcast.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.